The Kennel Club of Great Britain's 9th Agility Festival, held on the 9th, 10th and 11th of August 2013, occupied well over 100 acres on the Rockingham Castle estate near Market Harbour in Northamptonshire. It attracted competitors from every corner of the British Isles, together with over 20 other European countries, as well as Canada and the USA. This huge festival of agility sportsmen and women was proudly sponsored by the premier dog food company, CSJ Specialist Canine Feeds Limited. CSJ have their own range of specially formulated dog foods, numerous vitamin and herbal supplements, treats and much more. Everything to keep your dog healthy and full of stamina. Dogs of all shapes and sizes were entered in this fun but highly competitive sport. There were 2,200 of them. Literally, there were dogs in every direction you looked. As well as being a competition, it was a social gathering too, where lots of friendly rivals met, most here to improve on their previous rounds and with the hope of a win. For anyone interested in taking up the sport, you need a dog in good health, and it must be registered with the Kennel Club of Great Britain to compete in their events. This applies to a competitor with a dog from abroad. In their case, it has to have an authority number issued by the Kennel Club. Some of the club's competitions offer an opportunity to qualify for the agility competitions at Crufts.
That was very athletic.
You can train almost any dog for this sport. Some of the dogs competing here have come from rescue centres. While speed is important, because you're against the clock, your dog needs to be under control and focused, so that it makes the contacts and does the correct course. Speed is not necessarily attributed to the size of the dog. Some of the small ones are incredibly quick. Hundreds of entrants were competing over courses in 15 separate rings, specially designed for a specific grade of agility. Grades range from Grade 1 over courses increasing in difficulty to Grade 7. To compete in Grade 7, you need to have a progression of wins and points accumulated through the other grades, gained over a period of time at registered Kennel Club agility events. These wins have to be in both jumping and agility. When you qualify for Grade 7, obviously you're competing at the top level. Detailed information about this progression and agility criteria in general can be found on the Kennel Club's website. This is a perfect example showing the standard of agility seen at Grade 7. Competitors compete in classes according to the size of their dog. I asked judge and competitor Duessa Lipley about measuring.
Okay, before a dog takes part in agility, before they compete at 18 months, they need to be measured by a Kennel Club measurer. It needs 2 measurers to actually measure the dog and decide which category they go into, whether it's medium, large or small. And once they've been measured, if it's a large dog, that's it, they don't need to be re-measured again. But if it's a small or medium dog, they will need a second measure within 1 to 2 years for the first date.
To class as a small dog, the maximum height at its withers has to be 350 millimetres or smaller. To class as a medium dog, its maximum height is 430 millimetres and it has to be over 350 millimetres. A dog is classed as large at 430 millimetres in height or above. The course jumps are set at a specific height for each of the 3 sizes. The majority of people competing have trained their dogs partly by themselves and with training given at an agility club. There are lots of them all over the country, usually run by somebody with a history of agility wins. This is the Kennel Club Starters Cup class being judged, and it combines grades 1 and 2 competing over a jumps course with tunnels. As with all the competitions, 5 points are lost each time there's a fault. For example, when a jump rail falls down. If the dog jumps the wrong jump, it's eliminated. These are the common ones, but there are others. An accumulation of too many faults will also result in elimination. This happy dog has a lot to learn. He's trying her best. Each course has a reasonable time limit set by the judge. A round outside this time also means disqualification, but you're always allowed to finish the course in your own time. The judge designs his or her course with varying degrees of difficulty according to the grade competing, and it must conform to the Kennel Club regulations, which includes the distance set between each obstacle. I asked Hannah Banks, competitor and judge, how she likes to design a course.
I quite like courses that flow, that test the dogs and the handlers' abilities to the level that they're competing at. So you need to think about how skillful the dogs are, whether they're very young and inexperienced or whether they're very experienced, and you've got to design something a bit more testing for them. There's a whole book of rules and regulations that you need to stick to as well. Minimum distances between the obstacles. Mostly I want people to go out and have a bit of fun and maybe a bit of a challenge if it's that level. If possible, I like to run my dog around it, because what you had in your head once you put it up sometimes is a little bit different to what you had in mind, and it's only when you run a dog around it that you realise the difference. And also I like to use it to get a course time. I find it's nicer to run your own dog around it to get a really good idea as well of how fast the course is going to be.
Jump courses are combined with tunnels and weave poles. Agility courses have the addition of contact obstacles, which are the A-frame, the seesaw and the dog walk. On these obstacles, a dog must first make contact with its feet within the coloured segment at the bottom on its ascent of the ramp. Otherwise 5 points are lost. It's exactly the same at the bottom on the descent, seen here on the dog walk. On the seesaw, you can lose another 5 points if it doesn't fully tip to the ground before the dog runs off, so you could lose 15 points on that. The judge has to watch every dog over each jump and contact on the course, communicating the faults and clear rounds by a means of sign language to the scribe. Scribes are officials who make a record of the scores. They sit in a tent on the edge of the ring. What do the hand signs mean? I asked Judge John Leslie to interpret this language.
Sure. When the judge is in the ring, they're giving scores that are based on when agility first started, several decades ago, and that borrowed some ideas from show jumping for horses. One of the ideas they borrowed was 5 faults for every mistake the dog makes. That's apart from if the dog goes over time, when it's 1 fault for each second the dog goes over time. So if the dog knocks the pole off a fence, then the judge will say 5 faults. Or if the dog doesn't hit a contact point, they've got to go over obstacles and they have painted areas the dog must touch. If the dog misses one, it'll be 5 faults. The main other signal is a refusal. If the dog comes up to one of the obstacles and then doesn't take it or runs past, then a refusal is that. So the judge will do that to tell their scribe that that's a refusal. The difference is, although it's still 5 points, 3 refusals means the dog's automatically eliminated from the class, unfortunately. If the judge has to eliminate the dog automatically, then he'll use the judges use different signals. One of the common ones is this, and that's the one that I use. That says eliminated, or maybe that. Some judges like that because it's not so obvious to the dog and the handler what you're doing, and you don't want to put them off. You normally let them carry on with the run. The reason the judge is using these signals is that, if you think about it, you're standing in the middle of the ring, you've got a dog going at 90 miles an hour past you over all these obstacles. There's no second to stand there and sort of make a note of whenever the dog makes a mistake. So the judge needs a scribe who will note down on a sheet of paper the marks the dog is getting and then the time at the end. They're now called scribers because they combine the job of the scribe and the timer. And then that score sheet will go to the scorer, and then the scorer will complete the score sheet at the end of the class. That goes to the secretary's tent, where they will make the presentation to the winners.
And that means very well done. For the competitor, memorising the order of the obstacles is vitally important, and time is allocated to walk the course prior to the start. In the actual competition, the animated movements from the handler to the dog around the course is communication. There's dexterity and fluidity involving forward and backward turns. The dog quick as a flash,
Very nice
reads
tight
all
turn
this
there
body
into the
language.
tunnel. We want to be at that second jump after the dog walk at 22, if at all possible. So we need to make up a little bit of time here. Into the tunnel. 36.824.
There were good numbers of young people competing here. The Kennel Club are keen to encourage youngsters to take part in the sport. The very young ones showed amazing skills for their age. These are the under-12s competing in the Kennel Club International Young Handler of the Year. Future champions, perhaps. The potential is definitely here.
Come on, well done.
10-year-old Richard Davies was the winner with a brilliant clear round of 30.275 seconds. I asked him how long he'd had his dog.
I've had him just under 3 years.
What's his name?
Jet.
Do you train him every day?
I train him Tuesday to Friday in the back garden if I can, but on Mondays I go down the club, and sometimes on Thursday I will as well.
Do you get any help from your mum and dad?
Yes, I do.
How many dogs have you got at home?
At home now we've got 6, but altogether including my nan's dogs there are 12.
Will you get a treat for winning?
That will probably get Chinese.
Richard's round was well worth a Chinese. I hope Jet got a treat too. Nice pair, don't you think? The same competition for the 12s to 17-year-olds was also a keen contest, with some very fast rounds. None faster than winner Jennifer Hart with Cape Hope Cart Diem in 28.363 seconds.
Here we go, over there, into the tunnel, right back, quick switch back for this A-frame. Oh, good contact there, that was good. Look at that for a weave, nice quick weave, come on, come on. How about that for a time, 28.363, that was Jennifer and Dee Dee.
Aspirations of going clear are in the minds of all those climbing the grades ladder, and Sonya Docherty from Northern Ireland is doing just that. What made her take up agility?
Dixie's my first dog, and I took up agility to build my bond with her and so something that we could enjoy doing together. We've been doing it for 3 years now, so Dixie's six passed in July, and I tried obedience in different sports before we took up agility, and I'll be honest, much as she did the obedience to please me, I just didn't feel she was enjoying it, so we took up agility as a challenge, something new to learn together, and something that I thought she would enjoy, and I think she certainly does.
How did you get on in the competition?
Well, Dixie's just recently gone up to grade 3, and she's a staffy, and unusually she measured into large, and most staffies would run in medium, so to get her up to grade 3 was remarkable, and she got a clear round in jumping yesterday and a clear round in her agility and was just outside the places, so I'm very proud.
In Ireland, is the sport as popular as it is over here?
I think it is. It's a popular sport and it's certainly growing, but we wouldn't have 14, 15 rings like we have here today. Our competitions tend to be 1 ring, 2 ring shows, but there's the same enthusiasm from the owners and from the dogs, and certainly a lot of camaraderie and support from other teammates. So, and as I say, very much a growing sport. So I'm very fortunate. I found a wonderful club at home to train with, and still enjoying my training there.
The written results from the 15 rings arrive here in the Secretary's tent, the event's nerve centre. The results are fed into computers to give printouts and list the competitors for their next competitions, and then for the finals. To stage an event on this scale, there has to be a lot of pre-planning and organisation, most of which is taken for granted by everybody here. I met up with Graham Partridge, one of the Kennel Club's organisers.
Graham, this is the largest agility festival in the world, I believe. How on earth do you organise it?
With a lot of hard work and preparation, I can tell you. It really starts almost 12 months in advance. As soon as this year's festival is finished, we have to confirm that we've got an event suitable and large enough to cater for the number of competitors and caravans that we have here. I mean, 2,500 dogs in one site. I mean, waste disposal of dog excrement, tons of it. So we have to make arrangements for the hauliers to take it and dispose of it correctly. We have to make sure that there's adequate catering. We have blocks and blocks of toilets and showers. It really is a mammoth undertaking organising this. As you say, it's the biggest dog show in the world at the moment. We invented the sport of agility back in the 1970s, and it's now the most popular dog activity, including showing and obedience, that there is. It really is a growing sport. It's a sport for all.
Over that, over the wall, a lovely clear round, 35.514.
As part of the event, an attempt was made at breaking the Guinness Book of Records for the longest 2-minute simultaneous stay or sit down by the largest number of dogs. There were approximately 650 of them, placed in straight orderly lines. 601 did the sit down, but 628 was the record to beat. But just for a few moments, everybody thought they'd done it. Well, maybe next time. For one lucky dog called Fern, the chance to compete was better than breaking any record. Jackie Bromwich explained why.
Fern had a total hip replacement last year in April 2012. She's come back to working agility. She did extensive rehabilitation, and she's actually come back and is winning again, which is truly awesome that she can actually compete again at such a high-level competitive sport.
Is it unusual for a vet to carry out an operation like that?
Very much so, yes. It's being done a little bit more now than it was, but it's still considered very major surgery, and it's not done as a routine. It's something that's only really done when the dog really, really needs it. In Fern's case, if we hadn't done it, she was in so much pain, she would have been put to sleep. So the hip replacement was as an alternative. It was really a last-ditch attempt to save her life. And not only has it saved her life, but it's enabled her to go back to doing all the things that she used to do, including agility.
A remarkable recovery and a very happy outcome for Fern and Jackie. Sunday was the highlight of the 3 days, culminating with the semi-finals and the Nations Cup competitions. In the Kennel Club's Open Agility semi-final, for large dogs, the winner was Alison German with Nedlow What's the Story, in this faultless round.
Nice turn there onto the A-frame. She's going to push her back for these 2 jumps. Crossing again into the tunnel. Very nice turn there onto the dog walk. Got both ends. She's up on the time, very much so. Come on, Alison. Down the far straight. Into that far end of the tunnel. 3 to go. Over the seesaw. Gets it. Over the wall. Come on, Alison.
Alison won with a time of 32.888 seconds. Desiree Swelleman from the USA came second, and in third place came Lee Windiot. The top dogs from each country, small, medium and large, were invited to compete in the Nations Cup. It's a relay race involving 3 dogs from each individual team, competing against the clock. It was judged by Nalle Jansson from Sweden. Because of the numbers entered, some countries had more than one team. For example, Wales had teams Wales 1, 2 and 3. The countries that didn't have enough members to make up a full team were put together and called the rest of the world. After an entertaining afternoon featuring teams combining some of the top competitors in the world of agility, the presentations took place for the Nations Cup overall finals, which started with the small dogs. The Netherlands took first prize, England took second and third place. There was some flag flying for the medium dog winners, with Northern Ireland in first place, Spain 2 in second, and England 1 in third place. Lastly came the large dog presentations.
And the winner of the Large Nations Cup was Spain 1. Julian Naguero, Rico Alfonso and Jesus Fernando Crespo.
Rest of the World 3 came second, and Scotland 2 were third. What did the judge, Nalle Jansson, think of the festival?
The festival is magnificent, and for me I judged it 2 years ago, but now I got the opportunity to judge it again, so this is one of the highlights of my judging.
And here are the winning dogs that are going back to Spain.